Welcome back to the Juggernaut, guys. I have an upper day. I was gonna wear a really cute outfit, but it's raining, so this is what you're getting stuck with today. I have an upper day. It should go pretty fast. I'm in a strength block right now using the powerlifting programming in the app. I have a heavier top set today, so I will show you how I warm up to that and kind of just how I've changed my setup just based on the new IPF rules. Even though I haven't competed, just in case, you never know, I might just jump into the M2s at some point. I'll show you how I set up for that and how to get like a very good high trap position. So let's go. As always, warm up with the bar. I don't know why people get into the ego lifting and then warm up with 60 kilos. Even Chad, who benches a ton more than me, he always just starts with the bar. So warm up with the bar. Okay, if you're using the app, it's gonna tell you how to warm up, what jumps to take. If you're not using the app, you should be, but you'll see as I warm up, I start with more reps, gradually start decreasing those reps as I get to my top set, doing singles as I get closer to my top set, because you're gonna get the volume in when you do the back down sets. Okay, so gonna just show you what I do, because I always do a self handoff. Make sure that you pull the bar all the way to the end of the rack. New IPF rules, you cannot put your feet on the bench. So the way that I've changed my setup is I have found that putting my feet like right here on the bench puts me in like the perfect position. Get down. I kind of have my eyes, I'm set here, so I'm gonna like push myself onto my traps. That way my eyes are right underneath the bar. I still use this to kind of push myself up high onto my traps. I grab the bar. My butt is still off of the bench. I'm using my feet to get my chest to my chin. Unrack, set down. And that way I never had a problem with elbow depth, even though a lot of people seem to think like my range of motion is this big. Even under the old rules, using my feet to get higher up onto my traps, I still had a significant range of motion. My elbows always would still hit depth. So that's how I've changed my setup. Again, I have not competed under the new IPF rules for bench, but I don't have any doubt that my bench would pass. got a bathe in my chalk. I shouldn't even need chalk. It's cold today. It's not like my hands are sweating. It's just, this is how you lift PRs, people. You gotta chalk it up. Okay, so rest periods. If you're not doing a bridge block, you can still use your timer in the app. I tend to probably move faster than I should, especially even on upper, but that's just kind of what works for me. I wouldn't probably take longer than 2 minutes, even 2 to 3 minutes as you get to like your heavier weight, especially if you're female, just because we're generally not going as heavy as, guys that are, benching 500-600 pounds. So just keep that in mind. Also keep in mind, like if you're getting ready for a competition and there's 12 people in your flight, you're probably gonna have like a 12-minute gap between your lifts. So, putting a hoodie on, kind of keeping warm is gonna be helpful there when you're in competition. Okay. Help some, baby. Oh God. Ooh, right call on the app today. I put in there, how's your motivation? I was like, it's raining, it's not very good. So it was supposed to be 90 and it dropped me to 87.5. And this is why you trust the process.
Excellent work by your boobs there.
It does do all the work. People will comment even on this video like, oh, 2-inch range of motion, that's why. Built-in board press. My range of motion is not 2 inches.
So when we started working together, your competition grip was where, about in here?
Yeah.
Like a half a thumb from the smooth?
Like a bodybuilder style bench.
And now it's
all the way to, which is like the legal max grip width.
Yeah, so your index finger on the ring.
Yeah.
So as you widened out there about, probably the width of 2 of your hands, If someone's trying to make an adjustment in their bench grip, what advice would you give to them?
It would be to start slow. You can't go I didn't go from here all the way to the maximum grip width, mainly because that would have felt terrible and probably wouldn't have gone well for me. So when I started widening it, I did it by 2 finger widths and just over time. So I didn't get to the max grip width for probably like 3.5 years to get all the way out to the end. And anytime you make a technique change, you have to go through an entire block to see if it's going to work for you. It's going to take a little bit longer then to feel your strength levels go back to the levels that they were. But immediately, once I got to that wider grip, started feeling much stronger over time.
How should they know, like, which grip is right for them, or, you know, besides the normal stuff we talk about of stacked bar over wrist, wrist over elbow, how do they figure out, oh, this grip is better for me than that grip?
If you're going to figure it out by just doing it, but also I have clients who immediately when I see their grip, like they're very tall, they have a very long wingspan, and there's no stack from the wrist to the elbow. So, you know, it's going to be where you're going to feel the strongest, where you're not feeling any shoulder pain. And again, just looking at making sure that you have that stacked wrist position, wrist to elbow position.
My grip is the pinkies on the rings, so closer than yours.
Yeah.
And I'd had a lot of like bicep tendonitis stuff, pec strains more when I was throwing the shot put than anything. And so I think maybe the widest that I ever was like middle finger on the rings. But yeah, pinky on the rings is I think what I settled on. I don't like to cheat as much as you. So
touch point is also going to kind of determine where your grip width is going to be too. I've always touched up here, so having it in close just made the bar path kind of funky and stuff too. So the wider you are, the higher the touch point, the closer in, the lower the touch point on the chest is going to be.
Begin your next set now. I didn't want to bend down there enough to see your elbow depth. Now, for curious minds on the internet, if you were to bench with your feet up and a close grip, so without many forms of cheating that you're utilizing now, how much could you bench that way, you think?
Well, probably just the bar. So I get this comment a lot, like get your back flat and bring your feet up, then let's see how much you can do. If you do not power lift, you may not understand that we also use variations in our training. So I do have days where my feet are up and I am, benching with a more flat back. Now, to get your back completely flat, that would pull your shoulders forward, which can cause shoulder issues. So I don't believe anyone has a completely flat back, even though it may look like it. It's probably still going to be a little bit of arch there. But even with my feet up, I think my max is still 80 kilos for reps. I don't think I've ever maxed out with just my feet up, but I've done 80 kilos for reps.
How many reps?
I don't know.
Guess.
I would probably guess I've done it right now. I've probably done it for like six to eight. My best dumbbell benches are 90-pound dumbbells for a set of 6.
At 115 pounds body weight.
Yes, at 115 pounds body weight. My best incline is 70-pound dumbbells for a set of 4. The hardest part of that is just getting it up.
It's the hardest part for many of us. You really walked right into that one.
I feel like I did.
How about I turn this into an ASMR bench press session?
The IPF took bench out. Because let's face reality, bench is boring.
It was the most boring to watch.
It is boring. Like I usually, even in meets that I've watched, I watched Sheffield. It was a good meet. I just didn't care about the bench. I skipped over it.
And that was our favorite lifter's best lift, Miss Megan Scanlon.
Yes, I'm just saying, in general, I feel like it's a boring lift. I think an overhead press would be more fun to watch.
Yeah, and you don't have to have, the handoff person and the judges really obstruct the view a lot in the bench press.
It's just an easier change. It'd be more fun to see. And one of our favorite IG influencers could maybe compete.
Oh. Andrew Richards, if you're watching this. Marisa's been stalking your videos. I'm extremely jealous. us the sounds of the bench press.
I'm done. Okay, bench is complete. Now to accessorize. Pretty easy day for the accessories: dumbbell rows, side laterals, skull crushers, and then hammer curls. Like I said earlier, it may not have seemed like I had a lot of reps working up to the top set, but you saw that I got the volume in with the back down, so it ended up being like over 20 total reps.
Time has come.
Time to shine, babe.
Time to shine.
This is when people are gonna be like, oh, that's why you can finish your workout in 40 minutes, because you have someone putting your weights on and taking them off. Kind of true. But also, there's been times when he hasn't been in here and I've done it all myself, so.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, I'm going faster. I'll be back soon to spritz you with your heavy on water and hit you with pom-poms. It's a cold day out here in California, and Marisa made me come out here with a hairdryer and warm her bar up.
I'm very demanding.
Very.
I'm the most low maintenance person on planet Earth, but I feel like where I am high maintenance is temperature control. I like it to be fluctuate between a nice 69 and 71. And I don't know what he's talking about because he's always cold, always. Straps, use them. I know I've said this a million times, start with your weak side first. My left side. My left side be lagging. I not only need a plate boy, I need a rep counter as well now.
My skills are on the
Oh, every day we play these puzzle games. It's like a mini crossword. Chad usually always wins. But I won like 2 days in a row on speed. We go for time here. He just reads faster than me. I blame the education system. You had an education here in Orange County.
You're in ESL.
I counted that time. Not to be team full ROM here, but make sure you're using full range of motion. I see sometimes guys and girls cheating themselves, like using 25-pound dumbbells when they can do 55 and up, and then also just cheating the range here. So make sure you get that full extension there at the bottom and then pulling straight back at the top.
In regards to that with the full range of motion stuff, particularly if you're using power building on the app, but really anyone with their accessory work, we'll get people saying like, oh, I'm doing this for 22 reps. Let's say it was a 50-pound dumbbell row, and they're like, it's telling me 1 to 2 RIR, and that's like 22 reps for me. Why is it so high? It's like, well, what if you took that same 50 pounds and instead of just pumping out as many as you can like that, if you were really strict and intentional about, like a 3-count eccentric, a big stretch at the bottom, and milking every rep for as much as you could get out of it, now those 22 reps to hit 1 or 2 RIR might turn into, 14 reps for the same thing, and give you a lot more effect in your training, and you can get more out of less in regards to that. So definitely something to consider on approaching your accessory exercises for powerlifting, but particularly if you're using power building in the Juggernaut AI app.
Next up, I have side laterals. This exercise is particularly hard for me to go up in weight, mainly because dumbbells jump 5 pounds. I've never been to a gym where there's like in between jumps. So I've talked before a couple ways you can make the exercise harder, kind of just like avoid, it getting kind of boring. So this block, I'm doing, the same weight that I've done before, 15-pound dumbbells, but I'm gonna do them seated, which makes it a little bit harder. You're not able to use as much body English there. So if you find yourself in the same predicament where exercises like front raises, side laterals, 5 pounds is too hard of a jump, you can pause it at the top, you can slow down the tempos, or you can do it seated. I was just asking Shorty and Chad if they do side laterals, bent arm, or straight arm. So I can't do straight arm with 15s where you have no elbow bend versus pouring the milk. That's always kind of the cue they used to use so that your form stays good on the bent. I've always just had a little bit of a bent elbow because I feel it more in my delts that way. Do it whichever way you're gonna feel it the most. Bev, straight arm, bent elbow. If you're in a garage gym, you might be limited by what you can do if you don't have like the ability to do push downs, and maybe you just don't feel it as much on banded push downs. You can do bench dips. If you have the dip attachment, you can do dips for triceps. This block on this is my primary upper day, I'm doing skull crushers, and then on my secondary day, I'm doing banded push down. So, you know, if you find yourself being a little bit bored, see how you can change it up in different ways. You can do single banded push downs if the band isn't providing you enough resistance for 2 hands. And just to piggyback off of what Chad was just saying earlier about, you know, doing your accessories with great intent, you might notice if you are in powerlifting specifically that you might have only 2 sets of accessories. So on this day, I only have 2 sets of dumbbell rows, 2 sets of skull crushers, 2 sets of side laterals. So I'm doing each set and each rep with great intent because I don't have 3 or 4 sets within this block today. So do it with great intent, make sure you're feeling it where you need to feel it, and go. When I'm in a commercial gym, I really love doing skull crushers with a straight bar. I could do them here and set it up with a straight bar where I bench, but honestly, some of that is just laziness because I'd have to pull the bench out so that I don't hit the rack. But even like the pre-made easy curl bars, I really love those a lot. I actually feel like I get a better pump that way, but for purposes of getting through the session and because I had a heavier bench, I'm going with, you know, something that's going to be easy for me to set up that I'm more apt to do versus skip out on. That's another question we get a lot, especially for people doing power building, like, I don't know what to do. I wasn't able to get through, you know, all my accessory exercises. If you feel like you are crunched for time, and let's say you have 4 sets of skull crushers, but you can only do 2, do 2. Missing 2 sets of the skull crushers isn't going to be that big of a deal versus, you know, not doing your bigger compound movements like your squat, bench, or deadlift variations. Okay, last but not least, I'm doing hammer curls because, again, I'm kind of limited by the equipment that we have, and also going up 5 pounds on a hammer curl can be significant. I'm doing my hammer curls seated as well. It's gonna provide just a new stimulus and make it a little bit harder. So. Okay, that was the last set. The first set I did 12 reps, this set I did 9. You'll notice in the app it'll say 2 reps in reserve, 3 reps in reserve. Today was 2 reps in reserve. So basically what that means is I stop when I feel like I could only have done 2 more. So first set, yes, I was able to do 12. I felt like I probably could have done 15, so more like 3 reps in reserve. But that made this set feel a little bit harder, so I was able to do 9 in this set. But the previous week, I did 10 on the first set and 9 on the second set, so I was able to surpass what I did the week before. So that's what reps and reserves mean. Just like RPE, it can change based on how you're feeling that day when you start training though. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and following along with my training. I hope that you got some helpful nuggets out of this. Make sure that you get the app, Juggernaut AI App. You get 2 weeks free. We are constantly making improvements to the app. As a matter of fact, we just added a Jugger Cube to the app, so make sure that you check that out. You get 2 weeks free and you get to join the strongest community out there.